This shit may fall, man. I need a better place to put this. Get in the thing. It's too long. 4M. Lights, camera, action. That's not too bad. All right. I'm trying to be kind of quiet because my neighbor's right next to me. Trying to make sure ain't nobody over there. 4M. How you doing? How you be? Top to the AB. And yeah. Oh. I was not recording. Okay. Better audio. Go. So sorry about that, but at least you got the intro part from that side. That's not a terrible audio volume, so it should be fine. How you doing? How you be? Top to the AB, and it's another bright morning as I head to the gym, and I wanted to rap to you guys about a few things. First off, I will be in Poland. So yeah, I will be in Poland for the next week for work, which is going to be pretty cool. I'm kind of excited about it. I've never been to Poland or anywhere outside of Texas. So yeah, it'd be kind of cool to actually, travel and see abroad and all that kind of jazz and work and all that. But, today I actually wanted to do a video about intermittent fasting. Because, you know, I have a ton of experience in the matter lately. If those of you who are new to the channel, first off, welcome. I make videos about weight loss, weight gain, and just about anything that helps you build a better you. And back in the day when I first started this video, and back when I first lost weight, originally I was about 415, 420 pounds, depending on which scale you asked. And then I basically lost a lot of weight. I got down to about maybe 300 whenever I started intermittent fasting. And after I started intermittent fasting, I went from 300 to about 240 and continued to intermittent fast. And then I basically gave all that up for my career and eventually stopped intermittent fasting. But I think there's a lot of misconceptions about intermittent fasting as a whole. The consensus now is that it doesn't really matter when you get your calories in, as long as you get in your calories and you don't overeat. That is absolutely correct. I will not dispute that. I'm not a disputer. I don't do any of that. That's not what I do. Now, what I want to focus on is why I'm an advocate for intermittent fasting. And it really doesn't have anything to do with the nutritional value or the value that it brings to your body as a whole. Because yes, intermittent fasting on its own, it'll give your body more time to break down nutrients within your body and, you know, clean stuff out, all that kind of jazz, versus it constantly spending all of its energy eating food. That's what it does, okay? So that's what it gives you. That's the benefit. But the benefits that it gives you during weight loss is totally different, okay? Because it gains you the abilities that you would have had to learn on your own in order to actually do weight loss, okay? So for example, water, okay? You should, that's like maybe the second step outside of walking, right? You need to drink water and water only. Well, if you intermittent fast and you're doing like a 16-8, which is what I first started on, then what are you going to do in those 16 hours? I mean, you got to drink something, right? So it automatically teaches you and adapts you to drinking water and water only. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the traffic just to, you know, make sure. And my camera is a little off, so if this tilts a little bit, I apologize. Okay, cool. And so it teaches you to, okay, so it teaches you how to deal with water, you know, because you have to spend those 16 hours doing something, right? And water, especially cold water, makes it so that you're no longer hungry because your body spends energy burning or warming up the water for your body. Okay, so let's water. That's a great example. Okay, also your nutrition. Okay, because if you have a shitty diet, intermittent fasting will basically bend you over. Okay, and it will basically make you because you won't be able to handle the 16 hours of non-eating if you ate crappy in the 8 hours, right? So in order for you to be successful at intermittent fasting, you have to be successful in your nutrition in general, okay? You can't mess with carbs like French fries and expect to actually go on a fast and be okay. You have to change your carb intake to like a rice or a sweet potato or a bean or something like that, because that makes it easier for you to actually handle that fast, because you got all your nutrition in that 8-hour window. And when I say nutrition, I actually mean nutrition. I don't mean fast food. Not that you can't eat fast food. It's just that you need to be able to fit that in with the amount of calories that you're allotted to take in order for it to not hinder your weight loss and not hinder your intermittent fasting. And see, that's the key. If you can't actually intermittent fast, then your nutrition or the fact that you're not drinking enough water is the culprit, right? So it's teaching you how to deal with your nutrition without actually teaching you how to deal with your nutrition. That's why I like it. And that's why I'm an advocate for it for weight loss, because it's teaching you all of these little skills you would have learned in the beginning the hard way. It's like training wheels, basically. Alrighty. And also the whole drinking cold water when you're hungry, or just drinking water in general. Both of those things you actually learn later on, but you don't really know that starting off. But if you're intermittent fasting, you'll eventually pick that knowledge up. Okay. And also, you don't have the urge for food as much. You also don't have the urge for sugar, because you'll learn that sugar makes it so that you're continuously hungry. Alrighty. And if sugar makes you continuously hungry, it's not a good advocate for intermittent fasting, right? So if you're like, okay, last time I fasted, I was able, but it hurt like hell, and I was always continuously hungry because the last thing I ate happened to be cereal. Okay, take that into consideration. Cereal, because you didn't pay attention to what was on the milk label and the cereal label, because cereal people don't really think of cereal as something that has a ton of sugar, other than sugar for kids and stuff like that. But they're like, oh, okay, well, it's Raisin Bran. Okay, Raisin Bran, that's not the worst in the world, but it still has sugar because it has raisins. Milk is the problem, right? Because milk on its own has a ton of freaking sugar. It's not as bad as like grape juice, but it's still pretty bad, right? So you had that last, like, oh man, I only had like a bowl of Raisin Bran, why do I still feel hungry? Well, it's because you took in all that sugar because of the milk. All right, you may have put even a little bit of extra sugar because it was Raisin Bran, and you don't like the taste of Raisin Bran. No one likes the taste of Raisin Bran, but at the same time, that may be the reason, right? So he's like, okay, well, I was feeling kind of crappy and I had a little bit of sugar, so let me try to not take in sugar. Alrighty, not taking sugar and see what happens. And then all of a sudden, now I can do a 16-hour fast, right? That's the key, because now you're starting to look at what you're eating because you're trying to fast, versus looking at what you're eating because you're trying to lose weight. Alrighty, you're just trying to accomplish a fast. You know what I'm saying? Never mind all that other stuff. Your one goal is to be able to accomplish 16-8 fast. If that is your one goal, then you're gonna hit all this other stuff. All the water, the cold water, the weight loss, the sugar intake, your carb intake, you're gonna hit all those because you're fasting. And that's what people don't get. I am not saying intermittent fasting is the key to weight loss, and intermittent fasting, is better than just naturally eating, and everybody's comparing weight loss or do 5 meals versus intermittent fasting. That's not what it is. I understand their perspective because they're looking at it from the outside in, because they're already small and they got bigger, or they're small, or they're lifters and stuff like that. So they see it from that perspective, because intermittent fasting allows lifters to cut. right? So they're looking at it at that perspective. I don't have that perspective because I was always fat, right? I was always big. So that's not my perspective. My perspective is that I need to learn these values to help me lose weight. And it's easier to focus on learning how to perfect intermittent fasting than it is to focus on losing weight. Alrighty, and that's the way I looked at it, and that's the way you need to look at it. If you decide that you want to do intermittent fasting, damn all the other stuff. It's the values that you learn during intermittent fasting that allow you to lose weight better. That is the key. Alrighty, and it's not, everybody saying, well, if you intermittent fast, you're hurting yourself and maybe you can't pull it off and all this kind of stuff. Now, if it hurts you to work out on a fasted stomach, then it may not be for you. I'm sorry. But from my knowledge and the people that I've worked with and talked to intermittent fasting about, for endomorphs and mesomorphs, the people who are usually overweight, it's not a problem for them because they have, the weight within them that their body can consume. It's one thing if your body has nothing to eat. It has something to eat. It's called your fat, But if you're already skin and bones and you're trying to fast, or you have muscle and you're trying to cut and you're already sitting at 14, 13% body fat, it may not help you as much, or it may even hinder your actual workout. Okay, you may feel a little bit more fatigued than normal. You may be able to not be able to do as much as normal. That's a normal reaction to certain people's physique, and I understand that. And for those people, it may not be for them. But if you're on the outside, if you're, from the higher points, being bigger and stuff like that, trying to lose the weight, then it may actually prove to be more fruitful for you. Of course, that could talk to your doctors and all that kind of stuff. But if you're trying to lose weight, it's a lot easier to focus on, and it doesn't affect your actual lifting regimen. You got to test it and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't affect you that way because your body has the ability to burn the fat that you have stored. Okay, so because it has that ability, it makes it a lot easier for you to deal with it, especially whenever you're trying to work out. And let me go ahead and park. And that's just the concept I have, man. It's not a concept that intermittent fasting is the way to go, and intermittent fasting is better than five meals a day, and 5 small meals a day is better than intermittent. It's not. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that at all. Intermittent fasting is flexible. It allows you to learn how to adjust your life. One more fact. If you fast and you have friends and family and people that want you to hang out, it teaches you how to adjust your fasting regimen to fit your friends and your family and everybody else that's associated. Sorry, I had to look down at my audio to make sure I'm still recording. Your audio and everybody, or your audio, your friends and family and people around you. It allows you to learn, okay, I have to be at dinner at 7, which is kind of late. So if that's the case, let me try to get in all my carbs early and then just eat fish there. That way I don't look like, you see what I'm saying? Now you're trying to adjust to everything to fit your fasting regimen, but what you're really doing is adjusting everything to fit your weight loss regimen. But you're just looking at it from a fasting perspective, okay? So everything that you learn from weight loss, you actually learn from fasting. And it's easier to learn from fasting than learning all of these things as you go. And that's what I found out, from when I first started to when I first started fasting, which has now been 4.5, maybe 5 years now, on and off, of course, till now. It's not so much about what intermittent fasting brings to you. It's basically about what intermittent fasting teaches you and the fundamentals of weight loss that you learn from intermittent fasting. I apologize for this being a little like a day late or maybe a few hours late. It's been a very busy week. But if you like this video, go ahead and like it. Oh my God, I forgot my own outro. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you really like it, go ahead and subscribe. I love you either way. I am on Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, Twitter, mostly Instagram. hit me up on Instagram, holla at your boy. I post pictures of my weight loss progress, weight loss anything, pictures of foods that I eat, Bonitos, which is right here, you know what I'm saying? I already keep some in the box, you know what I'm saying? Bonitos, let me do that, you know? So Bonitos, I love those chips, you know what I'm saying? Made out of beans, that's the only beans I'll ever eat. You know, and yeah, man, hit me up there. I respond, I try to respond to every single post I make a post every day. So hit me up on social media, and I wish you all the best. Let me go ahead and hit up this weight, and yeah, talk to you guys next time. Peace.